to scale? I mean, I know it varies, but how many users can you get on consistently before you find that you have to start scaling outward?
So early on, uh, we found it was somewhere around. Whoops, I'm logging as the wrong person here. We found it was somewhere around like 70 to 100 people could be connected, but with Oplog, that number's actually gone up pretty significantly. So again, like if you're using Oplog enabled hosting, then that works out pretty well. Wrong account. Actually don't know that I have anything running here right now. Yeah, I don't.
So you talked a lot about Composer.io as a good hosting Mongo option. I had never heard of that. The two I had heard of was Mongo HQ and Mongo Lab. Do those not offer the Oplog, or do you know anything about those two?
Okay, so Mongo HQ changed their name, and it's now Compose.io.
All right, there you go. Thanks.
They decided they were going to get into more than just Mongo, so they're doing, you can see here, they've got these words changed here. They're doing Mongo and Elasticsearch and Rethink and what's the last? Redis is the last one. And yeah, so they've got Oplog enabled, and I'm pretty sure Mongo Lab now has an Oplog enabled option as well. So I definitely check them out. But for me, like I know the Mongo HQ guys, they do a good job. I've had like no downtime whatsoever. I also love the UI that you get right here. And so I can log in and show you. You can see kind of real time what's going on with Crater.
So Compose helps manage like your shards and all of that, or do you have to set that up manually? Like, do you have how well? I haven't worked much personally with MongoDB prior to Meteor, so I'm just starting to learn about the shards and the what is it, the Mongo config versus the shards.
Yeah,
like there's
actually,
settings and.
I haven't done any sharding with Mongo yet in
Okay.
regards to Meteor. So I couldn't really answer that question.
Sure.
Let's see, admin. No, that's not what I want either. Where's the nice screen? Huh. No alerts. Oh, here it is, monitoring. There we go. And so if I load Crater, we'll start seeing some spikes here.
Is Crater currently being hosted on a DigitalOcean with Compose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote an article that kind of compared the three, and this is where it ended up. So this was kind of the last option that I did, so I never moved it anywhere else after that. But the whole time that I was testing all three platforms, I kept the data at Compose, and that made it very easy to move because I just had to set that Mongo URL directly to the Compose database. And so I wasn't transferring any data anywhere. I was really just deploying some Meteor files and then pointing it back here to get it working.
And you're able to set up the environment or the Mongo URL via the Meteor Up settings, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me pull up that. Show you what it looks like. There's just a JSON file that you create, and you just tell it like the host username and password, or if you're using SSH keys, just point it at your key, and then you just tell it like, set up Mongo as false for me, but set up Node as true, so it'll install the Node version. I tell it to install Phantom. Give it the app name. Just Crater, and then you point it at, I don't know why he does this, but you point it at your local user directory, like where the app is located, and then you just set these environment variables here. And so
I think it doesn't it zip. It like packages it up and zips it up locally and then pushes it.
Yeah, but it seems like this piece he could probably just guess from your current location.
True.
So I don't know. That option seemed a little weird to me, but it works well.
And so Compose is pretty much just like a one-click install kind of thing, or is there some configuration that goes into initially setting it up in your project?
Yeah, it's just pretty much a one-click. The other thing you do is you go into the admin section and just set up your user accounts.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you can see, like, it's not, I mean, you know, there's a ton of posts and comments and whatnot on there, and I mean, it's only a 48 meg file size total, and the data size is 8.29 megs. So it's not, Mongo doesn't take up a lot of space necessarily.
Sure.
The other thing I would recommend is installing Kadira, and it gives you insight into what your Meteor app is doing. Let me go back to the dashboard here. So you can see, like, the pub sub response time is hovering around 100 right now. The method response times, they spike every once in a while. These are probably posts if we go dig deeper. CPU usage seems to hover around 10% usually. And there's about 64 to 65 people connected right now. Kind of shows you your memory usage as well. And then you can dig into the pub sub here, and we can sort by response time. And we can see whenever someone pulls up a user profile, this seems to be the slowest publication. But if you look, it doesn't have a high sub rate. It's like 0.02 per minute. Whereas like this post list users, it's 287 milliseconds, but we're getting about a half a sub a minute, a little over. So this would be a good place to maybe optimize and dig in and look. You can look at the chart here. We can click on the response time, and then you can actually pull up a trace of the subscription, and you can see post list was the slowest returner, and actually for some reason it got ran twice. So 3 times actually. So there's probably some kind of optimization in here that could be done in the subscriptions to make this a little faster. So.
Do you have any thoughts about the best way to set up your collections in Mongo?
The best way to what?
Collections in Mongo. You know how you set up your document structure. Have you had any experience of doing it one way that works better than another?
Yeah, so I think to me, like, I tend to denormalize my data a lot of times. So I'll have collections for each kind of thing in an app. So for instance, I do a training class and we build a Twitter clone, and in that one, you know, I've got users and tweets, and you know, we've got the idea of mentions. Those are tracked separately. Gosh, what else is in there? I think that's about it right now. It's pretty basic, but I try to keep those in separate collections, and then we do lookups based on, you know, the keys that are being passed in. Does that answer your question, or were you looking for something different?
No, that's what I was looking.
And your most recent post kind of touches on that, the comments one, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So, kind of a fun way to drive a join. In here, I take an ID off the route, so like /post/ID, and then I subscribe to both the post and the post comments based on that post ID. So it's kind of an easy way to get that data to flow in correctly without having to go to too much trouble.
I have a question. question.
Sure.
This might be too far up on the side, but have you looked at PureDB? Do you have any thoughts on that kind of merging?
So I haven't actually used it. As far as I can tell, this is only a Meteor thing. And it looks like it's really just a layer on top of Mongo. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. Like, I haven't investigated it at all. But, I mean, it could be interesting.